So I've tried to write a script for this video a few times now, and I think the best script for this type of topic is just a freestyle. Um, I guess what I'm trying to say is that this really can't be what life is. As a child, I really do feel that we all, really aspired to be something. Everybody always said, I can't wait to grow up and, be an astronaut or a doctor or a train conductor or be a professional baseball player or anything like that. But I think that's just because we didn't know the reality of what growing up really was. It just feels like growing up is paying bills, taking care of the kids, going to work, going to that 9 to 5 and just slaving away and just not being happy. And, now being in my early 20s, it's hard to not fall into that trap. Like, are we supposed to feel this lost in all honesty? I mean, it really doesn't feel like what we were promised. And I'm not blaming anybody in particular. I'm not blaming our parents. I'm not blaming, our teachers or professors that would always say you're going to go on to do great things, but what are those great things? And I know that's for us to decide, but we I feel like we, and maybe even me, we don't even know what we want in life. Obviously everybody wants, money, or whether you like cars, or whether you're a gamer like me and you want the best GPU or CPU out there. What I want is happiness. I think that's what it really is at the end of the day. I want to be happy, and it's just so hard to find these days because what even is happiness? It's a strange question to ask, but I do feel like happiness is having not a care in the world and playing zombies with your friends, or playing Gears of War with your friends on Xbox Live, or playing baseball after school or anything like that. That was pure happiness, where we didn't have anything else to worry about, where dinner was going to be on the table no matter what when we get home. And then the next day we get to just do it all over again. Sure, we had school, but that's where all of our friends were. That's where we built those relationships, and that's where, at least me, I enjoyed school. I liked going to school. And granted, the homework part always sucked. I mean, nobody really likes homework, but that was where everybody was. All of those great connections that we had. Nowadays, everything just feels so fake. It just feels so manufactured. Nothing feels natural anymore. It's a strange phenomenon, and I hope I'm not alone in thinking this, but I want to be unique. I don't want to be like you, and I'm sure you don't want to be like me. We all want to be our own person, and I think that's why this 9 to 5 or this 8 to 4 grind, it just feels like it's not for me. And sure, that might sound lazy or anything like that, but I personally don't think I'm a lazy person. I've always had good grades. I played many sports growing up, and I'm sure you watching the video, you can relate that you aren't a lazy person, assuming you're in your 20s like me, and you feel just as lost. It's such a strange phenomenon, and again, I really hope I'm not alone in thinking this, but I mean, nobody really. I guess just don't have the words for it right now. I feel like a lot of people my age, or maybe just people in general, are just existing, and that's really about it. Which is strange to say because I see all these people that I went to high school with on social media, and they're out, you know, in Florida or in California living their best life. And I do wholeheartedly believe that people really only show their best selves on social media, whether that is because they don't want people to know their bad side, or whether they want people to be jealous, or whatever it may be. But, given that, I still do feel like everybody's just kind of existing. Nobody's really challenging the system. Nobody wants, I guess, better. And I guess that's just kind of the sad reality that maybe we all have to accept. And again, it might feel that I'm kind of yelling into a void right now, but I guess I'm just trying to capture that happiness and that innocence that I once had, and I hope that it isn't fleeting. I hope that those times aren't gone. Even though those times are gone, I just really hope that having those moments, having that happiness, that genuine, pure happiness. That's what I mean, man. I really hope that those days are still ahead of us. I really hope that we can reclaim that innocence and, again, that happiness. I guess what I'm really trying to say is that growing up it's scary, and I know it's cliche to say, but you're probably thinking, well, yeah, no crap, growing up is scary, but it's probably not for the reasons that you think. You know, even in like our earlier 20s, maybe when we're still in college, if you did go to college, um, you know, and when you're 20 or 21, you know, you think of growing up as, you know, I'm going to graduate college, or I'm going to get this degree or certificate or whatever it may be, and then I'm going to join the workforce, and, you know, I'll kind of take it from there. And you didn't worry about the future. But now that I'm out of college, and again, maybe you can relate, now we need to worry about the future. You know, as I might have mentioned prior, I'm still living at home. I have a lot of my bills paid for, which I'm extremely grateful for. I know that there's people out there in a very, very, very much worse position than I am. But at the same time, this just can't be what life is, man. It's soul sucking. It really is. You know, if there's one thing that I could go back in time and tell my younger self, it's to savor the moments, to savor the late nights with your friends, or your parent walking in on you playing Call of Duty at 4 in the morning and getting upset. Even those moments, I would still take over what life is nowadays, what adulthood is. Now, maybe the next step for us is to kind of let go of that past and recognize that it is what it's called. It's the past. It happened, and we should be grateful for that experience. And I am, but at the same time, it's just there's so much more to life than just grinding away. And I know that, but I feel like society is kind of taking that away from us. And that being said, there's not really anything that we could really do about it. It's just it kind of is what it is, and it isn't right. I don't want to accept that. I don't want to accept that life is just going to be just this for the rest of our lives. And I don't know. I think at this point I'm just rambling a bit, and again, maybe I sound ungrateful. I am very grateful for being employed currently, but at the end of the day, it's gut punching. That's what it is. But anyway, I just kind of wanted to kind of put this out there, see if anybody could relate. Yeah, it's very frightening, you know, kind of growing up and, you know, being out of the comfort of your teenage years. And yeah, I guess that's kind of all I have to say.